I pressed the record button. Welcome everybody. My name is Becky Rares and I'll be moderating this session on point. Before we begin, I'll just go over a couple of housekeeping details. The session's being recorded and you'll receive an email announcement once the recordings are available. If you have questions or comments, please type them into the chat area on the right. And if you have a microphone, feel free to ask questions or make comments, but please mute yourself when you're not speaking to avoid extra background noise. So here's our presenter. For this session is Valerie Williams. She's the Director of Online Learning and Instructional Design for Point University in West Point, Georgia. She also holds the roles of Department Chair for Arts and Sciences, and she's also a faculty member. Please welcome Valerie.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. It's an honor and a privilege to get to chit-chat with everyone. Today is going to be a very laid-back session. We're going to talk about some of our courses here at Point University and what some of that new instructional design looks like. We strive here to do quality matters, and we strive to do OLC rubrics, and we also strive to make everything as accessible and friendly as possible. So without further ado, I want to sort of jump into some of the talking points, and you and I can share as we go along, and hopefully you'll get some nuggets of wisdom as we go along the way that you can use for foundational pieces in your course design. So let's get started. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about Point University and what's been going on. We are still in Sakai 10. We do upgrade to Sakai 11 on December the 19th, as does much of the LAMP Consortium, and I'll tell you about them in just a moment. And again, this is a faculty course showcase, so I'll just be showing you and touring you around some of the aspects of the course design here at Point University that is trending throughout the college. A little bit about me, first of all. Again, my name is Valerie Williams. I put my email here on this slide so that you're more than welcome to jot this down, and if you ever need me for something, please feel free to reach out. We have a friendly community here at Point, so I don't mind answering questions or giving advice if you ever need me, so please feel free to reach out. And this is my awesome team that I'm a part of. I have a picture here with my Vice President, Assistant Vice President, and Technology Coordinator, and you'll be seeing some of Kyle, actually, my Technology Coordinator, in this conference today. So he's been moderating and helping with the planning of the conference and presented one time today as well. So again, that's just a little bit about me, so jot down that email. And then a little bit about Point. We've got two programs here at Point. We've got a graduate and an undergraduate program, and we're so happy to announce that we got the SACS approval for the level change, and so the grad programs are up and running, and they were launched this fall, and we're very excited about that. We've got three different modalities that we deliver in, and that is online, access, which is our evening and adult program, and a traditional residential program. So one of my various jobs is to keep all of these plates spinning and to make sure that everything's taken care of on the LMS end for these modalities. And then, of course, we've got 6 locations, and there are the locations listed there. Many of those are in Georgia, so we have 2 in Atlanta, and then we've got Savannah, McDonough, and Birmingham, Alabama. And we also have several church partnerships as well. And here is a picture of us this year at LAMP Camp. This is us winning an award for Most Supportive Organization, which we thought was really wonderful for the first time being on Sakai in 2016. We're a new adoptee of Sakai, so we've taken off by leaps and bounds with this LMS. But the institution itself has been around since 1937. It was Atlanta Christian College to begin with, and then they rebranded and moved from East Point, Georgia to West Point, Georgia in 2012 and became Point University. So a little bit about the LAMP Consortium really quickly. Again, I said we were an adopter in 2016, so we became a member of the consortium, which is about 25 organizations, 25 learning institutions, if you will, and we all share one instance of Sakai. and that is managed by a group named Seath, and Longsight provides our hosting. And there's a little map of some of those institutions that span all across the globe, as you can see, that are in this consortium. So we make shared and joint collaborative decisions for our LMS together, which is a really unique and awesome thing. So without further ado, let's take a little bit of time to look at some of the aspects that we have here at Point. And again, as you want to ask questions, please feel free to type those in the chat, or please feel free to turn on your microphone and ask those, and Becky and I will facilitate those questions and answers. So typically when we log in to Sakai, we go to our home page. And this is what the home page of a course looks like. For us, that means that we have a branded instance, and so we make sure to include a banner on our particular home page. We've also got the course title, the number, and the session. And then we also like to include some instructor information and the course writer's information. So the faculty member that actually writes the curriculum for the course is the course writer. And so usually we link out to their emails or to their bio page or something of that nature on this home page of the course. And we try to make things as easily navigatable as possible. So we've got the buttons at the bottom of the page that direct the students to their different types of modules or units in the course. And then of course, we also have the navigation menu that's on the left-hand side standard. And we do turn on and off tools as needed for the curriculum for the course. So let's take a look at this first button, which is going to be our Getting Started button. So, excuse me, this is the other side, as you know, of the home page. And the other side of the home page has the announcements section, and we use that quite frequently to supplement our lessons. And then we also have the calendar that is synced up to our courses, especially our graduate courses. They use that calendar quite a bit, and it's called Schedule if you've never used it before. And they find it to be very easy to use as far as reminders for due dates on assignments. So that is the other half of the home page. But this is the Getting Started button. So when we click on the button in Getting Started off that home page, this is the next page it takes us to. So we have a little blurb here that sort of orients students to the course, gets them familiar with what they should or shouldn't be doing, tells them where to look first, like your syllabus and acquire your textbooks, things of that nature. So this is like their mini orientation page, if you will. That's what Getting Started is about. And if some of you have taken Quality Matters classes, or if you know anything about the QM rubric, that this is one of the components of the QM rubric, is that you need to have a place for students to get started or introduce themselves to the course. And then we have these subpages at the bottom, and you could reorder those however you see fit, but we try to include a course tour of the actual class, so how to navigate around so that you can see where certain tools are located and where to click for what assignments. And then we also have a Meet the Instructor page, and that usually is some type of video or PowerPoint or Prezi that the instructors create of themselves, and that is displayed to be a little personal human component so that people get a little glimpse of their instructor. And then, of course, we have the course introduction itself, and typically at Point, that is usually a video where the instructors record what the course expectations are and what's in the syllabus and so forth, and any supplemental information that the student may need before getting started on the class. So that is the main buttons that are usually located in Getting Started. And then, of course, we have a forum for the students to introduce themselves, and we include that forum in all the classes, and we also include in the forum a little blurb about how to add a picture to your profile. We think it's really important to build community here at Point, and so we want our students and instructors to have some type of a photograph of themselves, a headshot, to enter in their profile. And we've even held faculty meetings at Point and had a photographer from our communications department come over and snap pictures, just like school day pictures. And we take pictures at those faculty meetings so that those instructors will have a digital photograph, if they don't already, to upload to their courses, which makes it kind of nice. And then we were talking about the course tour page, where they take a look at the technology and they tour around the navigation. This is just a smattering of some of the things that we offer on that course tour page. This particular instructor has chosen to not only create a screenshot video, but they've also given a little bit of text instructions. And then there are these Point tutorial videos that our instructional design team has created that are about 3 minutes long, just really short snippets of how to upload assignment. Where is my syllabus? How do I navigate my course? Those types of things. So these are included in all of the course shells somewhere throughout, and sometimes multiple times, for students to receive help. So that's just a snapshot of what the course tour page looks like in our Getting Started module. So this is a snippet taken from one of my courses that I teach, and when you click on Meet the Instructor, this is what you get for me, and that's a video that talks about my education, my background, my research, things of that nature. And it's around 10 minutes long. We try to have a cutoff here at Point, no more than 15 minutes. That is the max that we want any mini lecture to be. And then we do best when we stay in the 3 to 7 minute video range for our students, and just have multiple parts. So just FYI, that is attention span and best practice to keep those videos short. It also helps on captioning if you're doing things that are accessible. Those snippets are a little bit better to caption. And then this is the course introduction page. So this takes you to, like I said, typically instructors like to do a video of what their course expectations are. So maybe they want to explain projects, maybe they want to explain netiquette, or what their expectations are for the discussion forums. All of that information can be included in a mini lecture in this course introduction page. And again, that's under Getting Started. So when we're on that home page with all of the buttons, you can also click out to go to the syllabus page. This is what our syllabus page looks like. Many of you are really familiar with this. It's the expandable, collapsible. And we have our syllabus broken down into the different parts so that if students want to click on a certain topic, they can expand it and see only that. For instance, our students typically go to the faculty information a lot. They go to the required text section a lot. And they also use this course schedule because we have all of our instructors make a course schedule. And then, of course, the grading policies and rubrics. So let's take a little bit closer look. So when you're clicking on the syllabus page, and one of those drop-down menus that I showed you was course expectations, well, this particular instructor has included netiquette and etiquette and links to resources for that in their page. And we've also included a little piece, a little paragraph on VeriCite and what that might look like to a student plagiarism is concerned. And then the assignment rubric. So anything that may be for the course, like discussion or participation or a project, these can be included in the syllabus as well. And I was talking about the course schedule earlier. When you expand that course schedule section, we usually have a PDF or a Word document that's uploaded, and this is what it typically looks like. It'll outline all of the activities for the student that is in that 7-week session, because that's how long we deliver content. We have an 8-week model, and we deliver content 7 weeks out of the 8. So here we have those items and their due dates and any other supplemental. I'll answer that question, Anne. Yes, it renders well on a mobile device. Actually, we have many students that work off of tablets and phones and other devices, so it's been really great. And the buttons, you can make those stackable, and so it's comes across really great and simple in a mobile device. So just FYI. But here again, is that course schedule. And again, we make all of our instructors do some type of a table or a schedule or a list to include in that syllabus, so that everything's clear and concise and that there's no confusion. And again, if you are familiar with Quality Matters, that's something that's very important, is that clear and concise instruction. So on the home page, if you click on the button that looks like this, that looks like learning activities, this is what you get. This is where all of your lessons week 1 through 7 are housed. And in this particular landing page, some instructors like to include a video here. Some instructors include an image. And always remember your alt text for your images for accessibility, and of course captioning for your videos. And then here we've got the weeks 1 through 7 items, so that the student can click on this button and go directly to that particular week. So let's take a closer look at week 1. Here in week 1, we try to build all the courses with the same types of components and the same types of navigation. This particular course begins with an image. Some begin with a video. It just depends on how that particular course writer needs this curriculum to be delivered. But they always include the week's overview and the week's objectives. That's very important to have those listed out for each module. And then again, we've got buttons here at the bottom of the page. Some instructors want to include everything on one page. Others do not. I highly recommend chunking the material so that you aren't scrolling on those mobile devices for a really long time. But again, that is up to you and your instructional design team on how you choose to do that. But this particular instructor has a button for your videos, for your lessons, and a button for your homework. So let's pause here for a minute and let me answer this question. Do you make all weeks visible to the students at the start of the term? Pros and cons. Okay, as a matter of fact, Natasha, we do. We here at Point, we serve a variety of students in age, and some of our adult students that are evening classes or hybrid classes or fully online classes work full-time jobs. Therefore, they need to be able to get in and sometimes work in advance. And that does not mean that they leave the class behind on their classwork, but it just means that they get access to their projects and so forth earlier. So here at Point, yes, we do open our weeks. We have a preview week where we open week 1 week early, but nothing's due. So we have preview week, then we have all weeks 1 through 7 open as well. And the due dates, we typically like to make our due dates at the end of the week. Our weeks run Monday through Sunday, so we try to have items due on Sunday night, with the exception of any items that may be related to a discussion forum. Those discussion forums, in order to get a robust discussion and the community going throughout the course, then you want to have those a little bit earlier, so maybe due on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. That way it gives everyone time to start seeing the posts and posting to one another. So that's typically how we handle it here at Point. We found the cons to Having it the other way, where we have items due Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where it's in a staggered format, wasn't working well for our students, even some of our younger students that are in ministry that have volunteer or intern or church jobs. So we just found that for both our younger audience and our older audience, that opening up those weeks in order for them to read in advance and to work in advance, as long as they have the facilitation of the instructor, it works perfect. So I hope that answers your question some. But again, absolutely. But again, this is what that week 1 lesson page looks like. So let's dig a little bit deeper. So we're digging deeper now. We're going to look at the forums. And we do things a little bit differently at Point. We include in the week 1 all forums, assignments, and everything in one place. Now, if the student wishes to use this menu bar on the left-hand side and click there and see an overall snapshot or a list view like this of their forums, that's perfectly okay. Just like in Microsoft Word, there's always more than one way to do something. So in this particular instance, we've given students multiple ways to do things, and we include all of their homework and their activities in that week 1 or week 2 and so forth. So this is what the forums looks like normally. And I wanted to show you this particular instance because we do a couple of non-traditional forums that you may be interested in. Because we're a Christian college, we do have some non-traditional forums. So these, again, are all your academic related forums down here on the content. And then we have some optional ones that we include, like the FAQ. Is there a homework question? Is there a discussion question? Is there something you have a question for the professor on in the class? So we open up a general discussion forum called a FAQ. Some people call it water cooler forums. Some call it whatever they would like, a cafe. And then this is our prayer request forum. So here we try to build community, and we have this open throughout the week. If a student has a need or if they have some encouragement that they want to share, we leave this general discussion open forum to post in throughout the remainder of the class. So that is something that's really different and really neat about Point that you may find useful for something else in your college. And then, this is that snapshot of the assignments page that we're all familiar with. And again, we include it in the weeks, but this is what that snapshot sort of looks like. And I just wanted to show you that we do include attachments, like we attach the rubrics that are for the writing assignments and the projects and so forth to the actual assignment, in addition to posting it in the lecture materials. And of course, we have the VeriCite items turned on as well. So I wanted to show you that real quick. Let me take a look over at the chat one moment. You have a school that's comprised of non-traditional students? Yes, they like to play in their schedule. Absolutely. And that is true that not all schools and not all departments handle the release, the delivery of the content the same, but that's how we have chosen to govern our courses academically right now. So that's what's working for us, and it's a lot better for our students. So thank you for the input, Kelly. I appreciate that. Okay, so on the home page, there was another button in that little bar at the bottom of the page. It looked like this, and it's a student support button. In the student support button, in every single course, we make all of our academic and support services available to all of our students just by a click. And this is another thing that comes across really well on mobile. And the buttons look nice and simple and clean and large, and they can just click and go. So here we have all of our support services that are available to students. And again, it's in each and every Sakai course. That way they always have access to this information. And once they click on this link, it'll take them directly to whoever runs that department, their contact information, the information about the service that they provide, and so forth. So it's been a great addition, especially with those new incoming students that are getting familiar with the Point website and the Point courses. This has been a great tool. Okay, there's another button on the home page in that little button bar, and it's called Academic Policies. And we actually have chosen to link this externally outward outside of Sakai. So once they click this button, they will be led to the Point University website that houses all of the catalogs. That way the student can go to the appropriate catalog that they're in, and they can click on it and go and read on any policy that they may want in their hands, grade appeals, attendance, that kind of thing. So this has been a great way for students to access the catalogs and the policies really quickly. So I encourage you to link externally when you can to information like this that's very lengthy. That way you don't house it within Sakai. And then the other button, the last button on the toolbar that we looked at on the home page, is called Sakai Help. Now, we chose to make our own help page in addition to the Sakai Help that's already there. And the only reason why we chose to do that is because we just adopted Sakai in 2016, and our culture, we're doing a whole culture change where we're shifting to this new LMS. Both our faculty body and our student body needed the extra support and the extra help. So we chose to make that extra help page that's customized to Point. And so this is what we ended up putting on it for right now. We've got the first link that links out to the Sakai Help directory, to those little tutorials, the instructor guide and the student guide. And then we've got our link to our own personal IT ticketing system. That way they can reach out to IT, and this is for both students and instructors, and they can get help from the help desk, which we've also extended help desk hours for our Sakai conversion. And then we've got those Point videos I showed you earlier where we had all those little tutorials and so forth. And then this is an extra link to a student guide, and this is an extra external link to more Sakai tutorials. And those are out there on YouTube on the actual Sakai web pages. So we thought that that was a good little starter for Sakai Help if people needed help. And then perhaps once we get more transitioned into the use of Sakai, when our culture has completely transitioned and changed successfully, then we might divvy down and par down some of this page, or remove it and just only put the Sakai Help button or something of that nature. We're in what we call a constant improvement model, so we're here to try and improve all the time. So I'd like to open this up for you guys to ask me questions, and I'm going to show you that home page again so you get a better look at it. Here again, this is what we've been using, and these are all those buttons that we link out to. So I'd like to open the floor, and we can just chit-chat for a few minutes about some of the things that you're doing that are the same, or the different things that you're doing that might help others. So feel free to chat or turn on your mic. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. She says it's very visually appealing. And Anna asked the question, is this homepage easily importable from site to site and term to term? Yes, it is easily importable. Yes, we do have to update the links for each individual course. What tool did I use to make those icons? It's funny you should ask, Laura. There's a free button maker website that you can go to. There are actually several, but if you Google free button makers, you can actually get those icons, customize them with your colors, your branding colors, and then you can create those images and add text to them. So there's actually things you can use out there that are Web 2.0 tools. Absolutely. What other questions do you guys have? Y'all are awesome. Have you had a good conference so far? So what are you doing differently at your school? How does this compare to what you're doing? Is this something you're already doing or would like to move to? So you don't have issues with folks getting things done too late if everything is open to students from day one? Ah, great question, Becky. Okay. So far, the answer is no. Since we have what's called the 8-week model, and that's where I told you we have 1 week of preview week where nothing is due. Then we have 7 weeks of content, and then it starts all over again. We have preview week, 7 weeks of content. That happens in a cycle, in a rotation all the time. So if by chance somebody gets an incomplete, or if by chance somebody had an emergency, an adult student or a traditional student has an emergency come up and they need to extend their time, we can go into that 8th week, that preview week, for them to do assignments. But so far, everything's been going well within each week, and they're all completing work on time. And we've had no issues with students moving forward way ahead, as long as you have a great online instructor that's very present and very aware. So everyone's in the same boat with Instructor Presence, correct? Everyone knows how important a successful course is online with the proper facilitation. Well, that's what we have for our instructors. We even train them to be online instructors here at Point. What tools do you use to assess student experiences with the online format? In our department, we are trying a blended course for the first time and trying to obtain useful feedback also while accepting that the first time is rough. Yes, ma'am. Natasha, the first time is rough. It's always a challenge when you're in that startup phase, if you will. We use a course evaluation, and we deploy it at the end of every course for every session. And then what we do is we collect that student survey, that course evaluation, and we compile the data. And then once we compile the data, we send it to the department chairs and the administration. That way everyone gets a look at the data. And then once the department chairs have that data, then they are able to reach out to those instructors for praise or improvement. And so that's how we handle those course evals from students. It also gets sent to our student experience, our student life group, and we examine those things. And like I said, we're on a continuous improvement model. So if something is not quite meshing with the students on the course eval, then we try to look at the root of the problem and see how we can fix or improve that experience for the student in the future. Michelle says, I joined late. Nice clean template. Looks easy to navigate. I like the addition of the student support page. Thank you. Yeah, that's been a big hit here too. Everyone likes having that at their fingertips. Could you talk more about Instructor Presence? Absolutely. I'd love to talk more about Instructor Presence. When you have an online and hybrid course, either or, it's important, just like in a traditional brick and mortar classroom where your instructor shows up on ground and is physically present for the students, it's important online to leave a digital footprint. In other words, you're constantly engaging with the students and you're constantly logging in. Here at Point, we have instructors log in every 24 to 48 hours, and that doesn't mean only just logging in. That means posting something to the student, whether that's an announcement, whether that's a grade or a feedback on a grade. That could be entering something into the students' discussion forum, redirecting the conversation, adding a supplemental link of some sort. So being constantly in the trenches with the students' learning experience. So no longer are they the lecturer or the sage on the stage. Now they're the guide on the side that's helping the student go through the course together. So it's about building community. It's about making sure that they are communicating and building relationships with students and making that connection between the material and what's applicable in the outside world, because we want a transformational student experience here at Point. So I hope that helps you a little bit, Natasha. And in my next session coming up at 3, I'll be doing a Birds of a Feather roundtable where we'll talk more about instructor presence. Anna, it says, I wish there was a way to have students return to the home page every time they log into a class, since there is so much useful information there. Do you find that students ever return to the home page? Yeah, absolutely they do. Anna, if you look over here on the navigation menu, this home area never goes away. And even in Sakai 11, they're going to have this home area. So we find that when students get lost, that they always know to return home, just like in the Wizard of Oz. And we also train our students to look at breadcrumbs at the top of the page. So that way, just like Hansel and Gretel, and yes, we use all these silly analogies in our trainings and so forth, our orientations with students, you can go backwards through those breadcrumbs that are listed up here at the top of the page. And we've even made videos about that, about how to navigate, and even those small little arrows that you see at the top of the page that let you sort of undo, redo. They're not undo and redo, but they let you go backwards one page. We talk about those as well, just so that the students and the instructors get familiar with how to be comfortable with their course, because comfort equals confidence, and that's what we want in our students and faculty. Becky, I teach 16-week courses and provide a required survey for the first week of class to find out student skills levels and interests, and another one at 8 weeks to make sure needs are being met. Awesome, Becky. So you actually kind of do a almost like a midterm and a final. I've even seen courses, and let me tell you guys this, we've got some grad courses here at Point for people doing their master's in ministry and their master's in business administration. And oftentimes we do a kind of like a pre-test, post-test for the program. So our MBA program, our students are going to do a pre-test for the entire program in that orientation course, and then at the end of the program, when they're getting closer to graduation, they'll do a post-test. So they have 2 assessments for that class, and so that also works well in conjunction with the end of course survey, because it kind of lets us know our effectiveness with the institution. But I like the idea, Becky, of the periodic testing. That's awesome. All right, guys, what other questions do you have? This is fun. I hope you guys are really enjoying this and taking away some notes that you can incorporate into your own courses at your school. Oh, we got our 2-minute warning from our moderator. Awesome. Well, if I don't see you guys again throughout this conference, it's been a real pleasure working with you today. And again, I'll be doing the 3:10 session, Birds of a Feather, and we're going to be talking about instructor presence. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you. You guys have been great too. So again, my email was listed on the front page. If you need me, you just let me know. It's valerie.williams@point.edu, and I'd be happy to help you in any way possible. Thanks, you guys. You guys are great too. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day. Thanks, Kath. Absolutely. Thanks, Becky. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Thanks, Pat. You guys are wonderful. Clap, clap for you guys too. Great questions. Good sharing. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, that was absolutely wonderful, Valerie. I have to go and run another session. So
All right.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited you joined Sakai and that you're here and sharing your sites are beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you, Becky. And we'll be in touch through email, okay?
Okay, sounds wonderful.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.